And a very special shout out to Mini Brandon Sarney, for that electrifying opening. What's going on, PhinManiacs? September 18th, 2021. And Matt, we are live. Brandon Liguori, Matthew Morin. And look, Matt, before we start talking about how the Dolphins were able to escape Foxborough with a 17-16 victory, my Florida Gators are taking on Alabama, top-ranked the Alabama Crimson Tide in about 28 or so minutes. I don't know if I'm excited or I don't really know if I'm kind of petrified that we're probably going to suffer a 25, 30-point loss.
Oh, man, I know your heart's pumping a little bit right now. It's got to be, right? Number one team in the country, that's Bama. Yeah, man, we'll see. Florida could make it interesting. They have the talent. Mullen just has to show up. We'll see what they got.
So, talking about that Dolphin game, really, this past Sunday, Brian Flores, the Miami Dolphins, picking up a 17-16 victory over Mac Jones and the New England Patriots. This win was honestly surprising because you looked at the stats. New England pretty much dominated the Dolphins on every statistical category. Right. And really for the New England Patriots, Mac Jones, who threw the ball almost 40 times in his first start as an NFL player. What did you see from Mac Jones, Matt? And really for a New England fan, obviously you and I are not Patriots fans, but for those listening, what are you really excited for that kid who did play under his college coach, and that's Nick Saban?
Right, yeah. I mean, obviously I'm not a Patriot lover, but Mac looked composed, and Mac was able to make throws and under the pressure of that defense. And granted, I don't think Flores got too complex with the blitzes that he threw at that kid. I honestly, as a fan, I was like, let's rattle him a little bit more. I think it was a bit vanilla, but he did well. I was surprised. He didn't really flash his pocket presence at Bama like too much. Mm-hmm. So to see some of that now in an NFL environment was encouraging for him, and I think New England fans should feel encouraged for sure.
I really think two things that hey, we walked out victorious, but I really think two things that disappointed me the most, and you might agree with me on this: the run defense, poor, and the pass rush. I just seemed like Mac Jones in 4 quarters of football, he was only sacked 1. So what did you see there that's really concerning? Because the Dolphins opening up their home schedule tomorrow against a very, very talented Buffalo team who's coming off a Week 1 surprising loss at home versus the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I noticed it was just very, the pass rush itself wasn't very complex. Like I didn't see too many stunts. I didn't see too many things like that could throw off an offensive line. And New England's offensive line is, they're one of the top ones in the league. So you can't just throw, good old one-on-one pass rush. Like you gotta confuse them a little bit. So you got guys like Phillips, who's pretty versatile, quick on his feet, obviously very powerful. Get creative with it. The pass rush was great off the line, and then it just slowed up. That's what I kept seeing. And the run defense.
And really the run defense, given up, I have it right here, 393 total yards of offense, but 125 yards on the ground. And 100 of those rushing yards came at the hands of Damian Harris, who fumbled the ball late in the fourth quarter. Yeah. The ball was picked up by Xavier Howard, who just continues to make plays on the defensive side, whether it's an interception, a fumble recovery, a strip, whatever that man does. I mean, we talked about it on our last show. He's worth every single penny. But what really concerns you now about the run defense heading into that Week 2 game tomorrow?
Absolutely, yeah. Xavier, you gotta be happy to have a guy like that. It's every week now. He's just making plays, and he's just a huge presence in the secondary. Can't ask for anything more from that guy. And I agree, worth every single penny. And you said it completely right, my friend.
Jalen Waddle, right? I mean, we talked about him last week. We were, anticipated for his NFL debut. 2 of his buddies in college, one was on the same team as him, Devontae Smith. Both of them did score in their week 1 matchups. Tua Tagovailoa's only touchdown pass this past Sunday was to Waddle. What did you like from him? I have it right here. He finished 4 receptions for 61 yards, including that touchdown score to put the Dolphins ahead 17-10. What did you see from him just really overall, Matt?
I just saw versatility. I saw the ability to be multiple with a guy like that. You could put him in the backfield. You could put him on, in the boundary. You could put him anywhere. And he's the quickness and the speed and the elusive the elusiveness is just off the charts. You
Correct.
can see it right away. The first pass, it was an RPO, and I talked about it in the piece that I wrote. It's just he's so sudden. He's way too sudden for most NFL DBs, and it takes a crowd to bring him down because he's just too much to handle in the open field. He really
Correct.
is. And hopefully that continues. I was very impressed with his composure and the whole being on the road in New England. I think he responded well. He had one drop that I think.
Yes, that third down drop that I tweeted about, it was, I don't know, I really don't know how, there was really just green grass right in front of him.
Yeah, a guy like that, 9 times out of 10 he's catching that. That was just the one time, and he knows, he came through a program that's pretty consistent. So Bama taught him well. He's going to be fair.
Yeah. So now tomorrow, Buffalo Bills, it's an AFC East matchup. Jason and you and I were just talking about it moments ago before we went live. Hey, the Dolphins opening up this season tomorrow 2-0. That would be absolutely fantastic. No,
it would be monumental. It'd be monumental. I want to get your thoughts on this. Like, this is probably one of the biggest games Miami's going to play in recent memory, right?
Of course.
Think back, we went to the wild card a few years ago, but this feels different. This could really set the tone for a season where people had real expectations for us and still do have. So what do you think, man? You think we can pull it off?
Number one, I mean, from a Dolphins standpoint, you and I being really diehard fans, you have to be pissed off because Week 17 last year, with a perfect chance to secure a wild card spot, with all the adversity faced, with all these COVID-19 protocols, and you go out and you lose. Not only do you lose by 30 points, but you give up 56 points, and I believe 14 of them were given to backup quarterback Matt Barkley. Really, for me, do I see the Dolphins pulling out this win tomorrow? I'm just going to give you my honest point. I really don't think so. And I just think that's just because Josh Allen and company, they're going to be extra focused. I mean, I've watched every press conference this week from Bills head coach Sean McDermott, and he says that, I mean, he even said it himself first, these guys are extra motivated. These guys know it's their first road game of the year, but it's an AFC East battle. It's a conference game. It's also a division game, and it's going to be the first home game inside of Pat's Hard Rock Stadium for the first time since 2019, because remember last year, I believe it was only 25% fan expectancy, total capacity. So really, I just don't know. The Dolphins, they've had in recent memory, they've had a hard time stopping Bills quarterback Josh Allen. I mean, he seems to really get him. He really seems to get this Dolphins front seven every single time, whether it's with his arm or whether it's with his legs. I mean, this guy, I believe, in 6 games in his career, he's only lost once.
You hit it on the head. I agree with almost every point. I do. I agree with every point. What I will add is this. This is the first game that in this era, in the Flores era, where things are looking up and people can come to the game. So correct. I'm looking for it to be a big home field advantage. And obviously, I don't know what the forecast is like tomorrow, but, you and I don't have the heat here. It's going to play into our hands if it's hot tomorrow. So
hey, the Miami Hurricanes are playing home right now, and I believe the current temperature are right around kickoff at noon. It was like 98, but the humidity felt like it was 105. And somehow, some way, I know you're not really going to like to hear this right now, but Michigan State just sacked the Hurricane fumble, and I believe Michigan State picked up the ball up by 3 in the red zone. I know you're a diehard Hurricanes fan, and you did text me about 30 minutes ago saying you might be giving up. So I don't know how you're doing over there, man. But
it's just underwhelming. There's way too much talent to be playing like this. That's another conversation. They don't deserve my attention. They're just, we'll let them figure it out.
But no, I believe the weather tomorrow. It's funny because Florida weather, it's so bipolar. I was just speaking about this with my mom earlier. It's like 30 minutes it rains, then the next hour it's sunny. Then all of a sudden we have like another mini Category 2 hurricane. You know what I'm saying? The weather. I mean, really, if I'm a Dolphins fan, I want it to be 110 tomorrow because obviously the Bills, they're used to that freezing cold 30, 35 degree Fahrenheit weather.
That's one of the biggest advantages you can have, and you're used to that in training camp and preparing for a season. You go out there in full pads at 100 degrees, and that's the norm. And guys in Buffalo are playing in the cold, and they come down here, and we got to get IV from the sideline and have a fan right next to them the whole time. So it's an advantage. I want to see a packed crowd, and I want it to be as hot as possible.
So 3 keys, we obviously talked about Josh Allen's dominance versus this Dolphins defense in general. But Matt, for the Dolphins to improve to 2-0, it's going to take 4 quarters of solid complementary football. You're going to have to play Tua Tagovailoa is going to have to play turnover-free football. So really, give me 2 to 3 keys, really, for the Dolphins to pull out this quote-unquote upset. Because right now the odds makers have this at Buffalo. I believe the current spread is -3.5.
Yeah, I mean, for Tua and the offense, I think you got to go to what works best for you. And I think the consensus is that, going quick is the best thing for this offense. So let him run the RPOs. Let him, no huddle, a lot of shotgun. Let him do his thing. Let guys get open and let him just sling it. I think Tua gets a little bit too shaky in the pocket, and we got to limit that. This offensive line has to find a way to give him more time. Because when he has time, we know what he could do.
Right.
It's just about not having time. I got to see more from him in that aspect.
I think really what also impressed really both of us, the deep ball. We saw one deep ball to Devontae Parker, who made a great – he kept both feet in bounds, and I believe that was the drive right before halftime that set the Dolphins up to tie the game at 10.
Yeah, shout out to J.C. Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah, J.C. Jackson I heard he had a lot of nice things, quote unquote, nice things to say about.
I don't know where his expertise was at on that play, but that's neither here nor there.
But I mean, really, it was just really great to see Tua Tagovailoa's deep ball. We saw it to Waddle, we saw it to Parker. Matt, you hit it right on the head. When he's given time, and this offensive line gives him time, he can be a really good quarterback in this National Football League.
100%. And all things considered, I don't think the offensive line played bad against New England. Like, we got to remember, like, New England's a pretty damn good front seven. This is not some regular front seven that's coming at you. You got Judon, you got a bunch of guys that are going after you, and they're taught by Belichick. So let's not sell them short. Like, they didn't play great, but I don't think they played awful considering the circumstances. So I want to see them build on that and protect Tua more. That's what it's got to be. For them to win this game, they got to protect him more.
And, I just want to get your thoughts. Tua did throw a poor fourth quarter in interception. Seemed like he was rolling out of the pocket, tried to throw the ball away. And, when we were able to talk to him after the game, and he was saying that his number one priority on that specific play, he was just trying to throw the ball away. But obviously that's definitely not that did not happen. What did you see from that fourth quarter interception that, really almost cost the Dolphins that football game?
I saw, I believe it was a shotgun formation. The first 2 reads weren't there. The blitz came off the edge. He had to circle out, get out of the pocket. And I think going right was kind of what did him in. That's not to his advantage. He's a lefty. So he's got to flip his body, reel it out of bounds, and the clock just ran out on him. There was too much of a pass rush, and he was worried about not getting, intentional grounding, trying to find someone at the last second. He just threw it up, and he claims that he's thrown out of bounds, but I don't know. Like, I think it just kind of slipped off his fingers a little funny, and it didn't get there. So it is what it is. They bounced back. They got the turnover, and we were able to come out with a win. So, that's what's most important. But he's got to avoid plays like that against good defenses and in games that are in the balance. He's got to avoid that.
Yeah, because that play really could have been the entire game. Okay. Really, New England, all they had to do was, run the football, run down
the – keep the ball and kick the field goal, the game's over. So
correct. Yeah. So, now you talk about this Buffalo team. Not only do they have Josh Allen, we can't talk about Buffalo without not talking about Stephon Diggs, who's probably been one of the most elite receivers in the National Football League. If you're cornerback Byron Jones, if you're cornerback Xavier Howard, what is your overall mindset knowing that this guy is going to be toe-to-toe with you in really less than 24 hours now?
Well, if I'm on the Dolphins defensive staff, I'm making sure at all times I've got at either Byron or X on him, either Xavier Howard or Byron Jones. I want one of those two covering him, and hopefully nobody else. Stephon's he's that good, man. He's too crisp. He's a great route runner. He's got great hands, and he's a complete wide receiver in this league for good reason. So, we can't stop everything with a guy like that. They're going to be able to scheme and get the mismatches that they want, time and time again. But I would stick with Xavier and Byron. Your two number ones on each side. That's who I would put on him.
So at the end of the day, Matt, when it's all said and done, because when 4 o'clock comes tomorrow, around 4 o'clock, 4:05, maybe 4:10 the latest, we're gonna know whether our team is 1-1 going into Las Vegas for Week 3, or whether our team is sitting alone atop the AFC East at 2-0. From your eyes, from your perspective, and just like you had detailed it in your latest article, which I have to say was you did a phenomenal job. Do you see the Dolphins walking out of Hard Rock Stadium tomorrow a perfect 2-0?
I see scenarios for both outcomes. I see in a loss, I see a very close game. I just think, Buffalo's been there, done that. They got to the AFC title game last year. They've been in tough spots and dug out of them and won football games under pressure-packed situations. I haven't seen that from this team yet as far as the Dolphins go. I haven't seen that. I've seen them show resiliency and win games, but not at the level that the Bills have. So in situations like this in sports, you're going to go with experience, right? And you're going to go with track record.
Of course.
I hate to say it. I'm leaning towards Buffalo, but I would not be surprised or shocked if Miami was able to win this game. The only way I'd be shocked is if Miami blew this team out.
That would probably shock a lot of people. Yep.
I'll be happy. Bring it on. Let's do it.
Yeah, right.
But, that would shock me for sure. So I could see it going both ways. I'm on the fence.
So before we wrap up today's show, and it's funny. We have a post here from Scotty Joe 22 who says Bills Mafia is a joke. Fins up. Yeah. Well, listen, speaking of Bills Mafia, they will be loud and they will be ferocious tomorrow, because I remember when I was a freshman at Florida Gulf Coast, I attended a Bills-Dolphins game with my mom in 2017, late December, and that was the chance that Buffalo was clinching the playoffs for the first time, I believe, since 1999. And, boy, when I tell you Bills, it was like a Bills home game. I mean, the Dolphins were obviously out of it. It was a Week 17 meaningless game. It was David Fales, I believe, starting. It was then Dolphins quarterback David Fales. Yeah, but Bills Mafia, I mean, they're no joke, man.
Yeah, no, that's a long time ago. Yeah, and the Bills have a presence. They have a following, and even more so now that they're kind of back in the elite group of the NFL. And rightfully so, man. It's a great organization. I don't love them. I'm a Dolphins fan, but you got to respect it there.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Done well to get back to this spot.
So before we wrap up today's show, Matt, run us down through your Saturday. What will you be doing now, tonight, tomorrow, before the game? Give me your plans.
Oh, man, I'm definitely going to be looking closely at that Florida-Bama game. And tonight it's in Happy Valley, right? Penn State and Auburn. Yeah,
Penn State and Auburn, yep.
I want to see what Bo Nix has. I want to see him shut some people up, man. They're all just like, he can't play on the road. And I want to see what he's got, man. I want to see Auburn go in there and shut Happy Valley up. I don't know. I want to see some excitement. I want to.
There's going to be, I believe, 95 to 100,000 white flags or white pom poms, whatever they call them, waiting there all night.
That's got to be like a top 3 environment in college.
Oh, it has to be.
It's got to be up there with Virginia Tech and Florida State.
Sam, yep.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Well, as always, man, I thank you very much. I appreciate you. Your article is great. Be sure to check out Matthew Morin's article. Be sure to give him a follow on Twitter. We need to get you to that 500 to 1,000 follower range. For Brandon Liguori, Matthew Morin, fins up, and enjoy your college football Saturday and your NFL Sunday, especially Week 2, the Miami Dolphins home opener versus the Buffalo Bills. Thank you, guys, and as always, fins